Well, hello, beautiful soul, my Aquarius friend. Welcome to the Divine Phoenix Rising Tarot. I am Zachary, and this is going to be your read for October 30th through November 5th. So I'm just going to dive right in. We're going to start with your spirit animal totem here from Spirit for the week of October 30th through November 5th. So I did probably the only reader that didn't mention the lunar eclipse on the 28th. Schwoops-a-doodle. But we had lunar eclipse on the 28th. So those eclipses are portals. I've talked about it for the solar eclipse that happened there. Solar eclipse is connected to the lunar eclipse from the last time, to the lunar, to the solar. Like, they are literally portals for traveling through. And that's why I was talking about jumping ahead into the timeline that you want. So you're probably going to find that there are connections to whatever was going on the last time that we had solar and lunar eclipse season. Which was at the beginning of the year? I think right at the beginning of the year. So my whole world was falling apart, but what's wonderful about it now is that it's actually coming together. And I think that's because I have accepted a lot of things, but I'm not saying, you know, like, if your world isn't coming together, you're not accepting things, but that could also be a component if you are in your way in some way. This is what's coming through for me, for you. Spirit, what animal do we have for Aquarius? Also, you guys, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. All great ways to help support me if you resonate with this at all or enjoy what I'm doing here. I really appreciate that. Cash App and PayPal links are in the description and on my bio too. If you feel generous and want to donate or tip, thank you so much, and I love you for that. If not, I love you still, okay? And check out your sun, moon. This is your sun. Check out your moon, Venus, and rising signs as well, especially if there's love here and you want to know a little bit more. Go check out your Venus, okay? If you don't know them, get onto Google, because Google knows everything. So, animal from the Muppets. You have lizard, regeneration. As a survivor, you are unparalleled. No matter what happens, you can adapt. Embrace your transformation. Put on your new cloak. You are a master of regeneration. Did you guys have this last week? I can't remember if it was you or Capricorn. No matter, neither here nor there. This is a week of regeneration for you. So I am totes excited about that. That makes me feel like, well, maybe there are some tricky things going on, because we don't just regenerate because our tail fell off for no reason, you know what I mean? But let's take a look. We'll see. I am adjusting my love and career section here a little bit too. I'm pulling an additional card in each section, which is tending to make it a little bit longer. But you know what, you guys? Stick around if you enjoy it. There's a lot of good stuff that's coming out here. And for those of you that are supporting me and enjoy it, I mean, it seems like you are sticking around. So thank you so much. If it ever, because Gemini was almost an hour long this time, so they may just end up being about an hour long, you know, that's, I don't know, we'll see how this goes. I'm still, this is day 17, oh, and I do have that contest going on for my 1,000 subscribers that I hit 2 days ago, that I'm now almost getting closer to 1,500 subscribers, which, you guys, I just love you so much, and I'm loving that you are enjoying everything that's going on here too. If you haven't seen the contest yet, feel free. It's on my community board that I have posted. The rules and everything are on that post. You can watch that video. The rules and how to enter are in the description on that video as well. So if you're new here and you haven't seen that because it was here before you got here, it will pop up as a pinned video if you subscribe. But I'm just letting everybody know so everybody has a chance. I'm giving away a 60-minute free reading, so rules are in there on how to apply. Feel free to check it out, or don't. You're a sovereign being, and you can do what you like. So, Spirit, what do we have for Aquarius here for October 30th through November 5th? Page of Pentacles, 8 of Wands, Judgment, and 2 of Pentacles. Okay. 6 of Swords, the Hierophant, and Ace of Cups. Okay. And then at the bottom of the deck, just because why not? You guys need the star again. Like, shh. I love this. I love this. This, to me, is just an echo of, like, did you guys make that wish? Do you remember? The eclipse season here, such a powerful time. And I'm so sorry that I didn't mention something about it. Like, I have been doing so many things myself, and like I mentioned to Gemini, I decided I'll just start talking about my story too. But I actually have narcolepsy, and that was officially diagnosed last year, but it's something that I've lived with my whole life and just didn't really know why I was struggling, because I just, you know, parents never checked it out. I fell out of a bunk bed when I was 3 years old, and they didn't think I'd walk or talk again. But here I am, you know, reading tarot and falling asleep at a moment's notice. But the crappy thing about it is all of it, you know, you can't sleep at night and you can't stay awake during the day. And society, the way that it works, it's just kind of a, you know, it's hard. It's hard. And it's not like a just being tired kind of thing, you know, it's, they call them sleep attacks. You get hit with waves of needing to fall asleep. So I am very much struggling with that right now, just as a heads up, in case I do trail off or anything like that. I am adjusting medication right now, so just in a little bit of flux was my point. But thank you so much for your patience with me. I do think that there are benefits to having narcolepsy. Like, they don't really understand what it is at all or what causes it. But they have ideas, but I think that there's a large spiritual component to it, and I think that that is why I'm able to tap in the way that I am, because I have a foot in this realm and the other realm at all times. I'm never fully awake and I'm never fully asleep. So that's, I don't know, called a shaman, if you will, because I think some cultures do. But anyway, back to you, Aquarius. I just felt like, especially at this point, as things are growing so rapidly, you guys are obviously interested in what's going on here. I just wanted to share a little bit about myself too, and I'll be giving little tidbits of information as things go on. But I love that this is coming through. That just tells me that, you know, you guys, you are hoping for that energy. And if you took the time and the intention to start working with that, then you did. It's, you know, it's coming. It's coming for you, or it's already come for you. But again, this is also your card. So I do feel like this is another powerful week, especially with what's going. There's balance. There's that need. That whole last month too was talking about bringing your true self forward. And I will do monthly reads as well. You got regeneration going on here. There's leveling up. I love it. Okay, so with love and career, like I said, we're going to do 3 cards for each. So it's going to be a little bit more expansive, and I will have chapters on there so you can jump ahead if you want to, but I do recommend checking out the whole reading because it's all connected. I am going through and connecting as I go along, but whether it's I talk a lot or there's just a lot of message, there's just a lot of message that's coming through. And I talk a lot. All right, King of Swords, 3 of Cups, and the Tower. We are going to look at that. Okay, 10 of Pentacles for career, 10 of Wands, and 5 of Wands. Interesting. So, just as a teaser trailer for love here, they're... oh, man. Something feels a little shady. Possibly involving somebody else, like a third party type situation is sort of what I'm getting there. But I'll evaluate that in detail later, like I said. In career, there's definitely a lot of weight and burden, and your legacy is being talked about as well. So we'll get into that. Having the regeneration, like I said in the start, you know, something cut the tail off. There definitely feels like there's a weight of some sort. So we'll examine. I'll examine. I don't know. And the spirit team. We'll do it. We'll do it for you. So Page of Pentacles here is the energy that you're coming into the week with. I wanted to look at the bottom of the deck with this too. 2 of Swords. Yep. So for career and love, there's some decisions that need to be made. So we'll talk about that. Page of Pentacles. The energy that you're coming into the week with is one of leveling up. There is... what I'm seeing is many different paths, and some of them are a bit like sharp and treacherous, but they lead to higher elevations, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So I definitely want to examine this. I feel like it's connected to kind of like with last month, the path that you're on where you are developing yourself or allowing yourself to be your authentic self is directly proportional to what you are experiencing in this reality. To boil all of this down for you just right quick is what I'm getting. And I think that's why there are many different paths that are popping up here too, as far as elevating yourself, not necessarily in physical elevation, but status, wherever it is that you want to go to develop yourself further. So we'll check this out. Check it out. Eight of Wands. This is going to be the energy that is not important this week. And the Eight of Wands talks about haste. It talks about good news. Good news, everybody. As well. And I kind of get a little bit of both with that. It's really important not to rush through something right now. And it's really important not to focus on receiving good news. I think some of you may even be, I think it's connected to the stars. Why? So when you, as it comes in reverse. So when you're working with this energy, it is wish granted, make a wish, hope as well. But it can also symbolize, and it's funny to me that I pulled that upside down, it can also symbolize lost hope. So what I'm getting from this situation of this not being important, it's important not to focus on receiving the good news. What is important is to continue going about your life. You've put that energy into manifesting. Continue to keep yourself in a high vibration. Continue to stay in a positive mindset. And that's not to say that you can't give attention to the things that are going on that need attention to negative-wise, but hold them in balance. And that's what's coming through is what this is good for. Because it's impossible and it's toxic to only focus on the positive. And we become less capable of being positive when we are only focusing on the positive and not taking care of the negative. It's kind of a, you know, counterintuitive understanding of the process there, but that's how it works. You have to look at the whole picture. What you resist persists. So what I'm getting from this is to not focus on just the good. Not to like magnify the bad. I don't even want to say good or bad. Light or dark. It's important to hold both of them in balance. Because that's what we're doing here. And balance is, it's a verb. It's an active motion. It's not a static place. That's never going to happen. Never going to happen, Captain. So the energy that is important this week is judgment. And judgment talks about true discernment. What is going on inside of yourself? Are you who you want to be? Are you maybe doing things that aren't in line with who you actually want to be and what may feel is the path to your highest good? I'd like for people to start stepping away from right and wrong. Okay? That judge and jury that we are all programmed with as children, that comes from our parents, that comes from society. And I'm not saying that there aren't things that are morally appropriate or inappropriate. That's not what I'm saying. I am talking about for yourself personally to stop the process of condemnation. Because when you're constantly looking at something being right or wrong, even for you, you're putting yourself into such a position of expected moments of shame. And shame, you know, there is a healthy shame when you do something that affects somebody or yourself in a negative way, when you express an opposition to love or healing. I mean, shame kind of makes sense to come in there. If you hurt somebody, it makes sense to have healthy shame. But what isn't healthy is existential shame. And existential shame comes from, well, a lot of the time, and I'm not bashing organized religion, that definitely didn't work for me. I grew up LDS and did not stay LDS. but a lot of time existential shame comes from organized religions, because they are programming such a code of right and wrong from such a young age. And that can be really damaging, because it destroys our ability to remain curious and inquisitive and ask ourselves, why are we doing something? And allowing there to be a dialogue to actually figure out and process who and what we are. Instead, boiling down every moment that we experience in this life as right or wrong. Black, white, right or wrong. Like, we're not robots, you guys. And we're so dynamic. There's so much going on inside of us and outside of us, outside of this body, that are still us, that we have no ability to really start examining if we're constantly looking at things as right and wrong. So, and that's all in this card, right? What's coming to me with this card and illuminating your true self, letting that inner spirit come forward, is starting to break outside of that mold that you were cast in. Nothing is black and white. Like, there are no alls or nothings, except for change is the only constant in life. The only thing that has to happen in this life is death. Everything else is a choice. Even taxes. At least here in the United States, you can sign a form to exit the tax system. Can't have a driver's license or use public roads or money anymore, but like, it's an option. I'm just saying. Things are not black and white. So 99.999999% of everything is gray. So what this card is encouraging you to do is to start thinking in shades of gray. To start being curious and inquisitive. To start questioning why you're doing things. Why are you thinking the way you're thinking? Instead of judging yourself as this is right or wrong, to be feeling this way or thinking that way, to instead take an approach of curiosity, of childlike wonder that may have been beaten out of most of you on purpose. You know, like, it's a form of control, you guys. You get to think and feel and think about how you feel and feel about how you think, and every other shade of gray in between. So that's what's important to you this week, is starting to crack that open and let your gooey gray innards come forward. Gross. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I'm sorry also. So where this leads, or what it's good for, is the Two of Pentacles. And this is talking about balance. For some of you, this is balance between work and relaxation time or play time. For a lot of you, I'm getting that this is in connection to judgment here. This is more of a, I would say, more of a spiritual component. And separating that from something like religion. So the Hierophant here is your blessing for the week. And the Hierophant can represent more of an organized religion. I sometimes take that card as spirituality, but I would definitely see that more as judgment in this situation here. And the difference between spirituality and religion, there is a Venn diagram where they have components that blend together, but spirituality is what brings you meaning, is finding that meaning, that process of finding that meaning. Religion is a set of rules that somebody else came up with to instruct you how to have meaning. So one is the self and one is outside of the self. And they come together in ways of, well, religion based on somebody else's set of, you know, constructed ideas. And I'm not demonizing religion, you guys. It was not for me, that's for sure. But they cross over because both can have factors of providing meaning to deeper meaning. But they're not the same thing, okay? And I'm not saying one is better than the other, all right? Like I said, I'm sure I'm going to get some comments on this, which you're free to comment as you'd like. Again, the rule is we are coming from a place of kindness, okay? I love to discuss things. I really, really do. One thing I will not tolerate is hate. And I've definitely had a few comments that are a bit disgusting. So those are just right in the trash can for me. Blocked from the channel. Like I said, love conversation. I love intelligent, open-hearted communication, but I won't tolerate hate or anger, because there's no reason to be angry about any of this. If you're feeling angry about something that I'm saying, all the more reason to start becoming curious as to why. Why? Why are you angry? I have not done anything to you, you know? Whatever you are feeling, no matter what is going on around you, has everything to do with you and nothing to do with anyone else. So maybe that is your sign in this situation to start letting yourself ooze that gray a bit more. Start becoming a little bit more inquisitive. Why are you responding so violently, possibly, to a situation where somebody is saying that something wasn't for them, or I don't know. However, I'm just getting that feeling. Some of you might be struggling a bit with what I'm saying there. And again, not demonizing anything. God, universe, I am open to everything, okay? I love love. That's what I'm here to share. So back to balance. Back to you, Aquarius. I feel like this is going to help bring you into greater balance. Obviously. I mean, it's obvious to me, but maybe you've been feeling out of balance. Maybe you have been feeling angry and you're not sure why. And maybe me bringing that up is accentuating that emotion coming forward. And in a way, that's a bit of a blessing if that is the situation for you. It's a nice illumination, a point of illumination. Like, well, what I'm saying is cutting right to the quick for you. So if that's you and you get an opportunity to come down from being so angry, I invite you to examine that. And if you're not responding in an angry way, but this resonates with you, either way, I invite you to examine more the why. Who, what, where, why, and when. Instead of, is this right or wrong? Because that's so destructive for everybody. Let's leave that behind in the 1900s too. It's not working for anybody. Ever. We are so intelligent as a species in our potential. Okay? So let's start jumping into that timeline. Because we all deserve to be there. I love you, Aquarius. So, yes, Aquarius, balance. Balance, and not Balenciaga. It's really, really important to be focusing on that, and I think just allowing yourself to crack yourself open, or be cracked open. Maybe this is a situation that is cracking you open a little bit. Let it give in. Just see what happens. You're safe. This is a safe zone here, okay? I won't tell anybody. So the challenge this week is 6 of Swords for you. And I mean, maybe that's why some of the anger is coming forward. So 6 of Swords is that transition from rough, choppy waters to calmer waters. You know, she's moving to like an island over here. An island in the sun that's kind of a safer place than where she's been in these choppy waters. The choppy waters can be somewhere where you've placed yourself, though, too. And connecting it to what I'm saying before, if you are a black and white thinker, then you're probably finding yourself in choppy waters a lot of the time, because those calm waters exist in the gray. In the extremes, which are black and white, well, it's choppy. It doesn't vibrate well with anyone, including yourself, and you're going to feel that tension. So that's what I'm feeling here, is that challenge is you actually, number one, recognizing that maybe you're in a choppy situation because not like you've directly made the decision to place yourself there, get parachuted on into the Bermuda Triangle, but because of a process of either not being aware, or a combination of not being aware, purposefully obtuse, and, you know, good mixture of head in the sand and in the clouds at the same time. Just see you bobbing up and down. Getting dizzy. So there's an opportunity this week for you to start transporting to calmer shores, calmer waters, but you have to realize that you're the one, like these birdies are taking the boat to calmer shores, but this is spirit. This is God. This is universe. This is Akasha, quantum field, whatever you want to call it, because it's literally all the same. Okay, it's the same force. That is what's pulling the boat. But as I've said in many other of these videos, you have to be the one to start this energy. This is infinite, and the ability that it has to create is fantastic. It is second to none. God, universe, spirit, is capable of anything and everything throughout every dimension, throughout all time. And it does not move on its own. You have to take the first step. And the first step looks like you getting in touch with your emotional state, talk to your heart, talk to your head, and get your gratitude in check. So there may be some reality checking that needs to happen in order to get you to these calmer shores. Maybe you're the one who cut your own tail off. And sometimes we do that. God, you know what, guys? I've cut my own tail off many, many times. And I would say I am the most resilient person that I know, because that's a fact for me. Divine Phoenix Rising, Tarot. All the tattoos I have on here are the different elements of phoenixes. The whole concept of being burnt to ash and rising from the ashes, I'm very familiar with the process. And sometimes it's me that's burnt myself down. And sometimes we need to do that. Sometimes we need to bring a tower into our situation. I think that's kind of what it's talking about with love, and we'll get there. So the Hierophant is being your blessing this week. Like I said, this can represent an organized religion, but what comes through for me with this is, you know, there's tradition. It's the state of, it's that piece in the middle of the Venn diagram where religion and spirituality mix. This individual is sitting down here meditating, and they are on natural ecstasy. Look how happy this individual is. That kind of ecstasy exists when we have an understanding of a deeper meaning. And that deeper meaning doesn't come from like a language. It doesn't come into words. I don't think it was you that I was talking about this to, but the truth, whatever, understanding does not exist in a language like this. It's a language that's spoken on the inside, and it's spoken out here, but not heard with your ears or, you know, produced with your mouth. The only way to get to that is by shutting the hell up, sitting down, quieting the ego, not every thought that's going through your brain, because you can't shut that off. You're not your brain. If you didn't know that, you're not your body. The thoughts that are going on in your brain, those aren't you either. That voice that's talking in your head, that's not even you. That's the computer. And that's all going off of whatever's been programmed in your unconscious mind. And that's a deeper lesson for another day. But starting to realize, especially with that coming through and cracking through the gray goo, letting that flow, I just feel compelled to explain that. To start becoming a bit more curious about what's going on in this experience. There's nothing about this body, including the brain and the thoughts that are produced, that have anything to do with who you are. Surprise! It's a program. Your personality is a program. Surprise! It is something that is developed over time. From thoughts to words to actions to consistency turned into habit to personality. So it's literally like a formula. Dr. Joe Dispenza has written a ton of fantastic books, and I highly recommend you start reading them. Really good one is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's one of my favorites. That's what I'm getting from this. There is the blessing that you're getting in this situation is starting to break tradition, your tradition, a little bit. Whether that is a thought process, whether that is, you know, a spiritual practice or religion or an eating habit or, you know, your sleep hygiene. This could be anything. Not meditating. The blessing is that you're being supported. You're being opened up a space this week to have support in tackling a pretty complex thing. You know, you're not going to solve it this week, but this is, you're cutting teeth, right? Breaking the gums is kind of what I am seeing in this situation. And that's a hard task, you guys. especially if you are responding in anger. Because that's, I mean, nobody's going to get anywhere with anger, obviously. And I don't mean to be diminutive about the anger, but anger is a secondary emotion. It is either justifiably protecting something in some way. It's either coming up in a situation because you are being mistreated. This is not a situation where you're being mistreated. Or you're feeling an emotion that you're having a hard time identifying or possibly feeling safe to share. Like, maybe you're feeling hurt. Maybe there's something I'm saying here that's making you feel hurt because it's calling into question something that you believe. Well, that's not an actual attack, is it? Nope. That is an internal struggle that's going on with you. So that anger is protecting that hurt inside of you. Whatever component is hurting, it could be, most likely, is your child in some way, because your child's not feeling safe. If there's something that's questioning its reality, or the reality that it's known, it can feel unsafe and unstable. So that's understandable. But we don't start seeing those processes until we start becoming curious and inquisitive about why we're feeling a certain way. Because otherwise you just keep going through your life living light and dark. Black and white, black and white. Light on, light off, light on, light off. Maybe a lot of people, you know, probably not you that are watching here, but, you know, a lot of people out there just have the light off a lot of the time. Poor dears. So your benefit for the week is that there is a space being opened up to help support you in starting to crack through that egg. And I believe in you, Aquarius. You can do this. It's not like fun, but over this last month, we've been talking a lot about Ten of Pentacles is coming through here too. You've had Legacy, you've had the Star with the Wish. That is some bad mama jamma energy that's bringing you into some wonderful places. And guess what? Not everything is just like escalating up to better, 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 better. There's a time in that spiral as we're spiraling up where we have to come back down to figure something out, learn that lesson to be able to take it to the next level of spiraling up. That's how it is. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? So what this is feeling like to me this week is not necessarily like a reality check, but also kind of like a reality check. Just also remember, guys, in order to fulfill this wish that you've had, in order to have that wish granted, or to take it to that next moment of having that wish granted, because there is a tower here in love or relationship sector, which means Star comes after a tower as well. You have to take care of your end of the deal, which is going through the rest of the tarot and developing through that. And sorry, I can hear this helicopter. I've said it in other videos too. There's not really a time of day for me to record right now. I live downtown by hospitals. There's an Air Force base and everything going on in the world right now. There's a lot of military copters and planes that are flying around. I did order a microphone, and that's supposed to be in this week. So that's definitely going to help. But just bear with me. Sorry about that. So yes, with the Star, there's the flip side of that coin of having that wish granted is you putting in the work. Keeping that positive mindset. Well, how do you also keep that positive mindset? How do you train that muscle in order to be in that place without neglecting the negative as well? Being able to hold both of those. You train that by expanding your heart's ability to hold complex emotions, which then allows your brain to know that it can start questioning things without there being a risk to your identity or safety. And that's how you start evolving and ascending, taking yourself out of that reptilian brain process, even out of the, you know, more mammalian brain, taking it to what you are, which is divinity, you guys. The divine does not think in black and white. It is not black and white. It's gray. Brilliant colors, but gray. So the energy that needs to be cleared here is the Ace of Cups in order for the best possible outcome to come to you. Ace of Cups is like this, it's the start of a relationship of some sort. And you've had this in the beginning. This was your last month's reading too. Talking about you holding your own heart. And Judgment came through there as well. Letting your true self come out, loving yourself here first, holding your own heart. So what I'm getting from this actually is, for some of you, there's a feeling of, like maybe you're being, I don't want to put that, like you're holding yourself hostage almost. Not quite Eight of Swords like, but you're holding your heart hostage. You aren't allowing yourself compassion or forgiveness in a situation. Maybe you made some decisions in the past that you look at now and you aren't the nicest to yourself about it. Or maybe there's situations that you're going through right now. I'm just very much getting the feeling of, you ain't being very nice to yourself, Aquarius. And why? Because somebody taught you how to be a dick to yourself? Yeah. Well, you is smart, you is kind, and you are smart enough to be able to start becoming inquisitive about why you are doing the things that you're doing. Why are you continuing to hold yourself in this emotional prison? What is it that you've done in the past that you think about now that brings out, because I get this like a wave of heat up the neck, like a flushing, like an anger, a shame. Whatever it is, pour some love on it. Pour some sugar on it. There is nothing that you have done in the past, and I'm not going to get into like, you know, murder and stuff, okay guys, like we're not doing extreme examples here. I'm talking about the general population. There's nothing that you have done that inner child does not deserve compassion and forgiveness, okay? I felt compelled actually to wear red for these videos here, and I think that that's because there's a component, there's something from the past about anger that's coming through in this reading for me. And you have a space that's opening up. Your angels, God, guides, ancestors, allies, the Akasha. Like, look, you made this wish, okay? Whatever this wish is, now you need to get out of the way. You need to hold a positive mindset on it, not just the positive, though. You need to be realistic about everything that's going on in your life, but you need to get out of your way. You need to step away from the expectation of how that's going to present. Maybe this is a situation where you're being instructed here, here's how you take it to the next level. You need to forgive yourself for something. Whatever it is that you are condemning yourself for in the past. And what I'm getting to is like, look at the way that you're operating in life now. How are you treating people around you? And why, what situations are you treating them the way you are over? Start becoming inquisitive about that, because that's going to start taking you directly to where everything started. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to be childhood, because it was a brutal time for all of us. We come from this divine realm and crash land into a cow turd. You know, it's quite a shock to the system. So whatever that is that you're holding on to, that you didn't do perfectly, that you are judging yourself so strongly for, that you are judging other people for, now is the time to start cluing into that. Yes, get your magnifying glass, Nancy Drew, and start checking out your heart. So, and this is a component of holding your own heart. Your heart is, like I said, boundless, and it's dynamic. There's a lot of shit going on there in the heart. And it's light and dark, you guys. It is a very, very interesting portal. The path of the heart is the path of the madman. And it's not that you'll lose your mind, but just about. It's when you're just about losing your mind that you really start to feel what the heart can feel. And it's wonderful. I hold a lot of complex emotions. constantly. And sometimes it's hard to hold them in a balanced state. I have issues too where I still lash out at people, you know. My little kiddo gets scared and angry, and I don't always remember to go straight to that component. I'm still healing and things too. But that's why it's easier for me to share a message like that. Like, you know what, guys, I put in the work. I put in a lot of work. And I can tell you that it's worth it. It's hell. But going through, you're already in hell, you know? Do you want to stay there or do you want to get through it? Is kind of the whole thing that I'm getting there. Do you want to get through the nightmare or do you want to stay there? Because that sucks. That's a shitty place to be. It's hard, to be honest with yourself, to let the cracks in so that the light can come in. But that balance is required in order for you to start releasing this, whatever it is that you're judging your own heart for. Let your heart be your heart. Your heart knows what's up. Excuse me, I almost said the F word. Your heart knows what's up. Get out of its way. And that's what the star is saying to you too. Whatever this wish was, that this dynamic, beautiful, wonderful wish, which is also you, it's coming, but you now have to make the decision to get out of the way. Take yourself to those calmer shores here. So I'm going to pull some oracle cards as clarification on those real quick, and then we'll move into love and career. Thanks for hanging with me, Aquarius. I know this wasn't as like bright and bubbly as a, you know, of a message, but these kinds of things are very important. I guess it's good to have some sugar with, you know, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, as Mary Poppins says. And maybe this is just a little bit of medicine. And I don't like enjoy giving more difficult messages, but I appreciate that I can. I appreciate that, for the most part anyway, because I have gotten a lot of feedback on it, you guys receive it well. So whatever it is that I'm doing helps, and I've noticed that throughout my whole life. Being a hairdresser, that was something that was really beneficial for me. People tend to take what I say better, and I don't know why. Honestly, I think it's because I lead from my heart. I have a very good relationship with my heart, and I think that you can feel that. I'm not just sitting here trying to bash on people, you know. I'm not trying to rain on your parade. Don't tell me just to sit around and what is the song? It's Rain on My Parade. I'm missing the words right now. Like I said, I'm feeling like a sleep attack is coming on right now. So let's move forward. Wow, 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 wow. Woo! So 2 of Pentacles here, Spirit. If we can get some clarification. Pretty please. Ooh. Whoa. Acceptance. Accept past and current situations. Work through issues gracefully. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you remember me talking about this. It was definitely more connected with the Ace of Cups here, but it makes sense. So the Ace of Cups is the energy that needs to be cleared in order to achieve your highest outcome. But this is where it leads, or what it's good for, which would be connected to, you know, releasing for the highest outcome too. So a part of that balance is, or a large part of it, is acceptance. Stepping away from that black and white thinking, because it's keeping you guys away from accepting, and then being able to love who you actually are. And that's what you need right now and always. But we can't go back in time right now anyway. This is what you need and deserve. This is what the world needs and deserves too. Your authenticity. So be brave. One of my favorite, I'm going to get as a tattoo on my arm. Je veux que tu sois courageux. I want to see you be brave. Okay? Thanks, Sarah Bareilles. It's hard to take courage, especially when it comes to ourselves. It's easy to tell other people, just be brave, you know? And I'm not saying suck it up, because I hate that. We're not sucking anything up. That's not brave. That's pretty spineless. Being brave is taking a look at the mirror and being honest with yourself. Getting clear on what the truth is. And being able to accept whatever's going on currently or a past situation for yourself can be tricky. And that's why grace is needed. Compassion and grace, which is what I was talking about. Whatever you're keeping your heart captive for. So start adding some grace to the mix. For the Six of Swords here, we have self-awareness. Tapping into your higher self, questioning routines and patterns. This is literally just everything that I was talking about, which is not a surprise. I just love getting the confirmation. It's very, you know, it's very confirming and validating. So self-awareness, tapping into your higher self, questioning routines and patterns. Some of those routines and patterns, like I'm telling you, are what has gotten you into those why you're in those choppy waters. You didn't just get plopped down there for no reason, you know. Something has happened that's putting you in there. And there are situations that aren't your fault that are there. Like that's life. That's the wheel. But I'm talking about those situations that you are unaware of, that are components of yourself that you're refusing to see. Can we get some clarification on the Hierophant, please? I'm going to get you all an ice cream cone after this. I know this isn't like... It's a harder message to swallow. I get it. I remember having to swallow a message like this, and it took years, okay? And a lot of anger. Whoop, success. With the Hierophant here. It's time to shine. Success from what you pour your heart into. So, like I was saying with the Hierophant here, there's something about breaking, you know, the mold that you've been cast into, or what you're used to doing as far as a routine, your own tradition, your own thought patterns, your own whatever you're doing. There's success coming from allowing you to pour into your own heart. But that's who this message is for. That's something that's new for you. Maybe you're used to pouring into everybody else. Maybe you've been taught that, you know, it's important to be selfless and to always give to others, even when you're not, whatever the story is, because you're a mother or because of this. And look, you guys, you know, there are situations as a parent, I understand, even though I had to rehome my little buddy, not a human child, but he's 13 now, and I do still get to see him sometimes. So that's a part of my tower that came down, that had things taken from me. I know what it's like to have to sacrifice things for another living entity. I'm not saying they're exactly the same. I'm hoping you guys can see the gray here, okay? What I'm saying is that I get that there are situations where you do need to sacrifice things, but you are still a human of your own. And taking on that mentality or that process, that habit of taking care of other people without taking care of you is really toxic and nasty. As an one directive only, okay? Yeah, you need to raise your kids, and you know, your charge is to keep them safe and to rear them into mature adulthood in a responsible way. So they're responsible humans, sure. That may take some sacrifice, but we're not talking about the sacrifice of sacrificing everything that you are for something else. You're being asked to get back to a place where you're pouring into your own heart first, even with kids, you guys. Unless you're pulling a child out from underneath a bus or something, okay, I get it. Maybe you need to, you know, you got to sacrifice blowing your joints out to lift that bus up. I get it. I'm here for, you know, I don't want that to happen to anybody. This is just an extreme example because I know somebody's going to say something about it. What I'm talking about is you have to pour into your own cup in your own heart first, even with children. You cannot just continue to pour and pour and pour into them only, or a spouse, or a job, or a pet, without taking care of yourself, and then adopting this martyr attitude that, you know, this is noble in some way, because it's not. It's not serving anybody. If you don't have the energy to fully shine, and it may not be 100% every day, because that's not really possible. I know it's not for me. My energy levels are terrible. a lot of the time. So, you know, you'll probably notice it with some of these videos too. It goes in waves. Depends on the day. Getting back to a place where you recognize, or maybe for the first time, that your heart matters. Dang it, Aquarius. It matters. So clarifying the Ace of Cups here. Happiness, new discoveries that lead to celebrations. Love yourself first. I literally just said that. I feel like every single one of these cards was just echoing exactly, because it was exactly what I just said. I was just saying you need to love yourself first. Doesn't have to be the most, doesn't have to be the only, but you can't keep pouring love, all of the love that you have, into everything else before you. Love yourself first. This card is not saying most or only. First. Even if it's 2 drops, you give it to yourself first, okay? You hear me? It's important, you guys. You can't exist in this world without your own love. And if you don't have any left to give yourself at the end of the day, because you probably don't, because this world demands it from us, especially if you have family and that sort of thing, that can be a boundary issue too. But first thing in the morning, you give yourself some love, whatever it is you need, but you need to give it to yourself first. The message that's coming through here is pretty clear for me. Some you guys are struggling with that process. That wish is being granted, but what is being required of you right now is to get straight with the emotional side of yourself, and that's your heart, and that's a deep, deep ocean, and it's a crazy one to traverse, but you're being asked to get started, and there is success that's coming because of that journey. So, moving into love. You have the 3 of Cups, King of Swords, and then the Tower. So the 3 of Cups is camaraderie. It's chilling with your besties, you know. It's hanging with your tribe, your peeps. It can symbolize a third wheel, like third member, somebody that's not necessarily welcome. It could be, you know, for some of you, maybe this could be symbolized. Maybe you guys have been wanting to experiment with something, and this is, you know, I'm talking to people who are in places that can make this decision responsibly, of course, you know, and consensually. This is not a message for children. This channel is not for children. It's not an adult channel, but I'm not speaking to children. Just being clear, you know, because I am getting close to a point where YouTube is going to start auditing my account because I have enough subscribers now. Because you guys are so awesome and you're just blowing me the F up. So, what is coming through here though is like an outsider, an interloper possibly in the relationship. And I don't necessarily take it as a warning either. I kind of feel like whoever this applies to, you may already be aware that that's a risk, or that might be going on. Maybe, you know, maybe it's something that you are actively participating in. And I'm not saying anything is right, wrong. This whole thing is not about right, wrong. I'm telling you what's coming through here. What your action to avoid here in this situation is the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is part of judgment, that discernment of judgment. They're sitting on their throne and they're looking directly at the reader here. And they are taking in the information and they are processing that. They're seeing what that means to them, how they want to proceed with that information, if they want to continue on with the situation that's going on in front of them, if they want to look for other information. It's just like the King of Swords might as well be a computer. It's kind of a cold personality. I compare it to Severus Snape in Harry Potter. It's that archetype that's like, you know, the teacher that comes across really cold and unfeeling, but really they just have the best of intentions for their student and they want them to do well. Or the parent that's like, oh, I love you, but I'll never show it because I don't know, this is how I was raised. That's the archetype that the King of Swords is. So what I'm getting from this, the action to avoid here, is to not go into a place of shutting off your heart, of becoming cold and unfeeling. And you're going through a lot right now with the heart. So maybe that's why this is a situation where the Tower is coming through. But it's not coming through. It's coming through as like a choice a chosen tower. It's not coming through as this is something that's just going to happen to you. What I'm getting from this is actually a couple different things. Number one, there may be some situations where maybe some of you have decided to experiment with something else, and you're finding that it is actually toxic. Not saying that every situation is toxic, but maybe this one is. And you're being invited to consider not shutting your heart off in this situation. Because if you are shutting your heart off in this situation, then there's no love here, and this is just mechanical. I would challenge you to become curious about how that's serving you. Again, not saying right or wrong. But for some of you, you're being invited to free yourself from that prison. Because we are talking about heart here. So to me, that tells me that there's an issue of getting that heart jump started. Bringing that into a relationship section, well, you can't really have a relationship without heart. At all. So you're being asked to just like consider that. For others of you, I do feel like you're being invited to like burn something down. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to pull an oracle card on it to get some more information, but it's kind of a curious topic. Get some more information. Okay, 2 cards here. Expansion and abundance, an inflow of money, love, or rewards, and pursue bigger and greater endeavors. So the way I take that, like with abundance, in connection to the King of Swords here, you're being invited to bring that flow of heart back into it. There's something that is blocked. Whether this is you as a single, just engaging in this kind of activity, which again, not saying right or wrong, okay? What I'm saying is that this message is talking about there being a lack of heart, of love. And, you know, that's fine. Do what you want to do. What you're being invited to question is that actually working for you? I'm not telling you that it is or isn't. You are being invited to question that for yourself. Having expansion, pursue bigger and greater endeavors. I connect that with the Tower. In order to move on to something that is bigger and better for yourself, sometimes we have to bulldoze it down. Sometimes we have to demolish an old building in order to start building something that's newer, better, bigger, better, harder, faster, stronger. Okay? Again, if this is resonating with you, take the message. If not, it's not for you. Okay? I'm very much just getting that something about being in a relationship is lacking heart. And Spirit is inviting you to bring that heart into the situation, to maybe think about letting go of whatever situation doesn't have the heart, and to question why you're in that situation, if you like it, where you want to go, where you don't want to go. But it does feel like a strong, nuanced push in one direction, having the Tower as a recommendation, rather than like, I don't know, 2 of Swords or an Ace of Swords. Like it's saying, burn it down. Burn it down, baby. Meditate on it, you guys. You have a space that's opening up this week that is going to allow for a lot of illumination. And with the lunar eclipse, that's more illumination, like I said. Go think back to when the last time the eclipses were and what was going on for you. Because that's coming up again now. And that's specific to you. I don't know all y'all yet. I don't know. So career. Career, you've got 10 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, and then 5 of Wands. So what I'm getting from this, 10 of Wands is about letting go of a burden. Something is too heavy. You're carrying too much. So you're being asked to examine that as well. Since we're opening up to curiosity this week, you're being asked to examine what are you carrying in a professional sense that is too much, you don't need right now. You tell me. You know. You know, Aquarius, not me. Interesting, because like I said, you've had the 10 of Pentacles come through here, which is your legacy. This is your ultimate abundance, spiritual and material realm. This is the action to avoid in your career right now. And I think what's coming to me on that is because when you're manifesting, you have to have the emotional component, you have to have the logical component, and you have to have gratitude. And you have to live it like it's already here. You're pulling that reality down, pulling that particle down from the wave function. To take all, you know, any religion out of it. That's the scientific understanding of what's going on. in this video game. So by being asked to avoid this isn't forever, but asking to avoid this week, the way I'm taking that is because y'all are having some issue of heart, or whoever this message is for. And if you're having an issue really tapping into your heart in the way that you need to manifest, to use that star energy, let's say maybe, you know, you were able, with the excitement, because those readings were super exciting too, you were able to get and tap into that wish energy. I'm not saying it's gone, but in order to stay in that place, you need to release your heart from whatever is keeping it bound up. And I think it's you guys. You just don't see it that way. But I think you will, especially with this next week. If you take that advice, start meditating, get a journal. And I've had some people contact me and ask me to start making merch, which I feel like is just like, oh my gosh, this is all happening so very quickly. I found a company online that is able to help me with that sort of thing. And so I do think I will have some journals and that sort of thing that I'll have for sale here soon. Some other merch, but this is a process of going through a lot of things and figuring it out. So anyway, journaling is what I was saying. I highly recommend that you guys get a journal. Start writing down what's going on your day-to-day so that you can go back and start looking at patterns in your life, because that's how you start learning about what's actually going on. Instead of thinking in right and wrong and black and white, you're going to start questioning every single day why you're doing what you're doing. And eventually you're going to start coming up with answers. So this is being avoided this week because it's being protected. Your legacy is being protected. Because if you were to go into continuing to manifest this right this second, there's too much volatility with where your heart is right now that needs some stabilization, is what I feel. So 5 of Wands is the action to take. And 5 of Wands is competition. You know, they're play fighting or practicing fighting for the real fight. It can be leveling up as well, or brainstorming. So I'm getting a little bit of like brainstorming and leveling up energy. The action for you to take here is to, while you are now opening up a space and having a space open to investigate what's going on with your heart, to start thinking, brainstorming on how to take what's going on here, out here, to start leveling up whatever it is that's going on in your career. And not to the point of your legacy, but you're going to start finding, I know you will, you're going to start finding components of how you're doing what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing. As you're deciphering that and figuring that out, things are going to start to look a lot different in the outside world to you. So you're being asked or encouraged to start thinking about things differently. Start brainstorming different ways to come up with how to level up. Because you're no longer going to be leveling up from the same place of heart. You're going to be leveling up from a new, closer to that 5th dimension rather than the 3rd, or for some of you, the 2nd. Like I said, not on this channel, you know. You guys didn't make it this far with a 2-dimensional heart. So for career here, we've got release grudges, wounds, and pent-up feelings through healthy activities, and then self-limiting beliefs, negative thoughts are creating a roadblock in your life, which is on point with what I'm saying here. I think the 5 of Wands is, you know, to expound on that with the release, participating in healthy activities, maybe taking up, you know, learning some self-defense, or boxing, you know, some sort of activity, physical activity that is a healthy way to release. Maybe if you are feeling angry, exercising, period, making that a part of your routine. This is going to help you in every area of your life, but in career as well, because if you're a more balanced human being, then you're going to be able to approach those things a lot better. And while going through the heart, this can become a little bit volatile, especially if this is a new journey for you guys. Being able to siphon that through in a physical way, in healthy ways, not, you know, taking it out on other people and that sort of thing, is imperative. It's imperative, you guys. And then releasing grudges, wounds, and pent-up feeling. Oh, that's what I just said. Excuse me. Negative thoughts are creating a roadblock in your life. That is the theme of this whole reading. getting away from that black and white thinking and starting to think more gray. Allowing your heart to start giving its message instead of just sending out waves of confusion that you are choosing to ignore. Be confused for a second. Let that state even overcome you. You have a space opening up this week that is allowing you to start traversing through that madness, okay? Like I said, not the most fun message here, but this is an important one, you guys. This is some real talk. This is the tea, okay? I love you, Aquarius. Thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you next week, okay? Bye!